So I'm not I'm not somebody who's willing to give anybody the benefit of the doubt anymore. They've had more than a year to comply. And if we don't take action, it just rolls on and on and on. So I do suggest that people do take action. And by the way, they can go to the website, popia.claims, and they can submit their request, their complaint online, and that will be picked up and forwarded to the regulator, and pressure will put on the regulator to respond. There's no guarantee that the regulator will respond, but it is a channel that can be used by anybody who has a complaint to lodge a complaint using the proper forms. And so I do encourage people to go directly to the regulator. There are forms that the regulators just published, I think today. If you go onto their front page, and you'll see that the media statement today is a republication of the complaints form. So they are wanting people
to... It was rather confusing, that form, when I opened it this afternoon, but absolutely, it is there. It is on the site this afternoon. Sorry, Peter, I interrupted you.
No, well, that's it. That's just use the form. It's one of the most important things, and what we have that's different to the GDPR. The regulator is obliged to assist data subjects exercise their rights. When we talked about this in Parliament, the whole issue was, what's the point of a right to privacy if it cannot be enforced, especially by a population that doesn't have resources, doesn't have the skill. And so the Act specifically says the regulator must assist data subjects exercise their rights, submit complaints, and obtain settlements. And so the regulator, Section 83, is required to assist data subjects get financial settlement for any non-compliance. And non-compliance could simply be pain and suffering and emotional shock. It doesn't actually have to be anything more than a sleepless night.
Thank you, Peter. Can I ask you to pop that that web address onto the chat in response to the question that we've had? Then I think the other participants can just pick it up there if they'd also like to get access to it. Peter, Tobin, can I send a question your way around NDAs?
Please.
The question is, are NDAs sufficient or adequate to impose data protection with service providers, or is there more more that we should be doing as an organization, especially when it comes to third-party integrations and service providers?
Yeah, in the typical traditional sense, Lynn, a non-disclosure agreement is about confidentiality, and that's wholly inadequate when you look at the sections of the POPIA Act, which talk under condition number 7, security safeguards, about the expectation of the relationship between the responsible party and one or more operators that they may be working with. There's a specific requirement that you carry out an overall security risk assessment, and as a part of that, you would expect to include your identified operators, determine the basis on which you're going to do business with them. A contractual agreement is the most obvious way to do that. In fact, it talks in the Act about having a contract and a mandate, and then make sure that that adequately covers the responsibilities that you are laying on the service provider and what your expectations are as a responsible party. And that is relatively narrow in terms of looking at the information security environment, notification of data breach, etc. So yeah, you absolutely have to have more than a non-disclosure agreement. It must be something that meets the requirements. And from memory, sections 19 to 22 or thereabouts, it's laid out quite clearly what those expectations are. But there's something else that I'd like to raise, Lynn, before we close, and that is one of the most important sections of the Act for me is section 109, subsection 3, which talks to the determinants of an appropriate fine and the factors that the regulator will take into account. And we had some discussion earlier around the use of processes, whether or not policies are required, and so on. And I'd like to just read the brief section under that, which says any failure to carry out a risk assessment, and in this case, we're looking at assessing the risk of dealing with operators, or a failure to operate good policies, procedures, and practices to protect personal information. that makes it quite clear that there are a range of responsibilities that we have as responsible parties. Now, that's not the only factor that the regulator will take into account. There are subsections A to H, I just read you G, but definitely you need to have a contractual arrangement more than an NDA.
Thank you very much, Peter. I was hoping to get through more of the questions, but I think we are running close on time. You'll see I'm in the middle of load shedding. It's just kicked in, so I'm looking like a bit of a ghost. I apologize. I actually especially came to the office today to make sure that I had connectivity, at least that's still solid, and I'm all good on that front. What I would like to do, we have 5 minutes left, so I'm going to ask one last question, and then I'm going to ask just each panelist to give us just a brief closing statement. If you could do that, just give that some thoughts along. Candice, just a question to you specifically around cybersecurity. Just if you can keep it quite brief. The question here from Lily is, what are the key considerations when planning cybersecurity operations for our organization?
So I think key considerations just when planning cybersecurity operations is just to take stock and just take check of what actually needs to be done. I think with this whole POPIA journey, there's a lot that people started putting in place. Yes, the cybersecurity lens needs to be put on it, but I think you also need to just make sure that what is already there you can, and then start putting and sometimes get those experts in to tell you, you know, how can I do things a little bit better? A lot of the cybersecurity looks at, you know, doing like some threat analysis and understanding what your risks are and making sure that you know what your leakages could actually be, and then putting those preventative mechanisms in place. A lot of the times for me and in my opinion, you know, you've got the technologies that really assist you here. Yes, you can get the procedures and the policies, but again, it comes down to me, the technologies and the practicalness that you need to also look at. You also need to understand what your risk is. What could people potentially be after, and make sure that you're mitigating those loopholes at any point in time. So I think for me, in a brief, short statement, that would be my key considerations to take into consideration.
Thank you, Candice. A very big topic to cover in a very short space of time. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm just going to ask each of you to give just a brief closing statement from your side. I think we've had a great panel discussion this afternoon, just to pull your last thoughts together. Peter, Tobin, would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, thanks, Lynn, and thanks again the opportunity that DESACA has extended to me, and I'm sure the other panelists as well. Been great to work with you. I would just like to encourage everybody to think beyond their own organization and look to those elements of the community that they participate in, and go to your church, your school, the various community groups you might belong to, and see what you can share with them about how they're tackling POPI compliance and what you can share in the knowledge you've obtained not only from this, but many other sessions, and try and give back to the community, because this is for the community as a whole. It's not just for us in the corporate world.
Thank you. Vincent, would you like to follow on?
Yeah, that's a very nice thought, Peter. And I definitely think we should do that, and I'm going to take that up and see if I can assist my church. Yeah, I think my takeaway is use this as an opportunity to relook at your business. You've got to go through a very detailed analysis of what's happening with personal information. So this is an opportunity to relook at your business. Are things running the way that you want them to? Are you over collecting? Are you over storing, keeping stuff for too long? Have a look at your business. Now's the time to make it more efficient. And that's the opportunity POPIA has created.
Thanks very much. Peter Hill?
Yeah, I think it's important that people realize that this is a right that they should cherish. They should not squander the right, so hold people accountable.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Peter. Candice, last thoughts from you.
I think for me, this was valuable, and I think for so many other people to I think experience the same frustrations that everybody, you know, is going through. I think Peter Tobin shared some, you know, frustrations that we've seen clients experience. I think for me, engage in these communities, and, you know, where you found something that works, share it with other people. You know, everybody wants to get onto this journey. And I think if we can just keep sharing more, even with organizations and corporates, I think we'll all go a long way, and I think we'll all learn from each other, and we'll all get it right eventually. And I think that's what we want for all of us from a privacy perspective, is for the information regulator to get it right. And I think we have to do this together. It's not a one-man job. We have to be in it together and help them and provide the recommendations. I think that's a key takeaway for me.
Thank you. Yeah, just thank you very much from my side to each of the panelists. Yeah, it's always a pleasure hearing the different perspectives, hearing the depth of the technical knowledge, and just being able to share that with the broader ISACA community. Yeah, I think just by the number of questions and the conversation, certainly still very relevant. Certainly we have not arrived. Certainly there's a long way to go, whether you're a large corporate, whether you're a one-man business, whether you're, at church, at your mosque, there's still a lot to be done from a community perspective. And yeah, I think just to encourage each one of us, we have a role to play. Those of us that are privileged to be part of these types of forums, we are informed. We do have the knowledge. We've got, this panel of specialists, informing us even further. Take it to your office tomorrow. Take it to your community. Yeah, let's keep the conversation going. Let's do this together. I think that's been very encouraging for me. That is a lot of like, let's get this thing done. Looking forward to seeing the regulator really getting going and getting those costs turning. I really think that'll, from a general country perspective, we want to see that. We want to see that become an effective body in the country, that we know, if they say something's going to happen, it's going to happen, and that we can submit things through to them and know that there's some backing to it. So we're all looking forward to that. Yeah, just a huge thank you to each of you on the panel. Really appreciated your different perspectives and the different knowledge that you've brought to the table today. Thank you very much. And yeah, just back to our hosts at ISACA.
Where is my unmute button?
There we go.
Thank you very much. You know how these things are. When you most need them, they evade you. I think I just want to start by thanking all the panelists. This has been a very informative session. And I think for all of us, whether you are a practitioner in this field or just an ordinary member of society, the topic is very relevant to everyone involved. And I think, Peter, you've given us a very nice challenge, is to educate everyone about their rights, actually, because most people don't actually know that now, they have a right to their privacy, to the privacy of their personal data, and therefore they can call the big organization to account. We do have some winners that we are going to be announcing. So please just stay on, because if you are not on, then you're not going to get your prize. So let me start by thanking Euphodia for the first session on cybercrime. Thank you very much, Euphodia. That was a very insightful session. And then I would also want to thank Lynn for raising her hand to be our moderator. I think she's done a sterling job. Thank you so much, Lynn. You kept the flow going very well. And I think the most important thing is you really covered the most aspects of the POPIA Act. I think people are still quite grappling with, what's applicable to me, what is this, and I think, like Peter Tobin said, things keep on changing so much. Every day I try and go onto the regulator website and I try and register as an information regulator, and then you find it's not working. And I ask myself, is it just my computer, or are things not working? But we know in South Africa, unfortunately, we are very good at putting nice policies in place. It often becomes a challenge when we have to implement them. And I'm hoping that we'll get our ducks in a row and we'll get this going. But the most important thing is we need to be ready for whenever the regulator is also well capacitated to be able to handle whatever information comes their way. I want to also thank Dr. Peter Tobin for coming out and being our panelist. We really value the information that you share with us, and for always raising your hand as when as ISACA we call on to you to come and share your knowledge. It's really very much appreciated. Peter Hill as well, thank you very much. Earlier in the year, we had a session with you where you took us through the POPIA Act and what its intricacies are. Some of the people on the call attended that. It was quite informative. Thank you so much, Peter. We really appreciate it also that whenever we reach out to you, you always are willing to come and share your knowledge with us. Very much appreciated. Candice, thank you as well. I think we've seen your face a few times, and I'm always encouraged because I like to see, our young professionals really raising their hands and coming to share. Remember, you don't have to be an expert. And I always say, I don't know if there's such a thing as an expert because we are forever learning. But, whatever subject you are passionate about, come and share with us. We have the platform to be able to give you the stage to come and share with other professionals. So thank you very much, Candice, as well, for always coming to the party. Vincent, thank you very much for bringing in that perspective also from the practical point of view on your experiences with assisting companies with this. I hope that when we call you on, you will be able to help us, because I think this is, it's evolving. So I'm sure there are going to be changes that are coming along. And as ISACA, we really want to keep our members informed so that you know what are the current changes, what's happening. And we are bringing these topical issues to you so that you'll be in the know and you'll be able to assist your organizations and your communities at large with what is happening, because they always look up to us to say, I know there's this thing happening and you are in the IT field, what can you tell me? So we try and inform you as much as possible. And thank you very much. I'm going to hand over to Dr. Cameron to announce our winner from the first session. There were a few questions that were dropped on the chat box, and there were some of you members who participated. I think those of you who have attended the Joburg region, you know that we like you to engage and we reward you for engaging with us. So we do have 2 winners today. From the first session, there were a couple of questions asked. Dr. Cameron will announce that. And then we also have another winner from the second session. And Trimore will also announce that winner. So I'm going to give over to Dr. Cameron and Trimore to announce that, but please don't leave, because we do have some interesting information that we need to share with you as our members. Then we'll get to that.
Okay, the winner for the quiz competition, drum roll, is Riranzu Risenga. So that's our winner for today. Yay, Riranzu.
Thank you. Well done, Riranzu.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then the most engaged winner, who's our second winner today, in the second segment of this session, is Sequela Mohala. Ladies and gentlemen, please clap hands for this guy. So I think from my side, this is a challenge to all of us in the near or in the next coming sessions. That can we also be that engaged, because we are here to participate and to learn from one another. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm really trying to share my screen, and for some weird reason, I'm not able to share my screen for the closing slides. I'm not sure if Cameron, if you have the closing slides, maybe you can share it from your side, but I am for some reason not able to access my.
No, I don't have them on my side.
Okay.
Just try.
Right. In any case, so nominations are open for the South Africa Chapter Annual Member Awards. Please make sure that you nominate. The nominations are open from 1 July to the 31st of August. And we will have a ceremony to award our winners on the 12th of November, 2021, from 9 to 11 a.m. And the theme is Life is Beautiful. So please register today. For more information, just go, you can email info@isaca.org.za. And there are different categories, and we have the Winston Hayden Leadership Award. We've got the Max Blecher Innovation Award, the Tish Zororo Excellent Award, Contribution Award, Innovation Award, and the Young Professional Award of the Year. So all this information is also on our website. The deadline is the 31st of August. So please nominate yourself or nominate your fellow colleagues, so that we can be able to reward them for the excellent work that is being done. We also, if you want to contact the office, please email us on info@isaca.org.za. We also do have a telephone number, but currently due to COVID, I don't think there's anyone in the office, but the number is 087-550-9289. And you can also contact us on our website. We do have an office in Cape Town, but currently not being used because of COVID. But once we are back online, you can visit us in the Cape Town office. We have come to the end of our session today. I would like to thank each and everyone for taking the opportunity to be with us today. Please be on the lookout for our next session, which will be in September, because August is the She Lead, is the Women's Month. So we'll have the one in tech forum. So please do also attend that. It's not only for ladies, it's for everyone. So please attend the She Lead session in August. Thank you so much. With that, I'm going to close. I don't know if there's anything else, but we will be closing the session.